What's up? It's your boy Carson over here. Let's talk about it. Are players too friendly now in the NBA? I don't know. I had to think about it because I like to go back and say, well, it's not fair to just make that assessment and not go back. I feel everybody should at least go back to see, how it was back in the day with guys on the basketball court. Now I don't care about if you want to be friends and buddy off the court, that's fine with me. Go on, do your thing. If you want to go ahead and do that and go that route, that's you. That's what you like. That's your thing. Knock yourself out. Go on and be happy. But for the life of me, I cannot understand it. Like this new NBA we have now, guys are far more too friendly on the court than I've seen in recent years. A lot of guys, they're friends because of social media. They're able to keep in contact with each other through that. And back in the 80s, there wasn't any social media. So we don't know how back in the olden days they probably would have been this type of way through social media. But you look at some of the older players, could you see Jordan, Barkley, or even Dominic Wilkins on Twitter? Like they won't even look at that stuff now. Really, Charles got to for work, and I don't even think he knows what he's really doing. When you weren't raised into something, it's a lot easier to ignore it and say, "Ah, I don't want nothing to do with that." So I understood the fact that they didn't want anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So does it affect the game? A little bit, because in the 80s they took it to the chest. Pat Riley, you were not allowed to speak to the other players with any team he coached. You could not have this fraternizing conversation when you guys was playing against each other. That just was not going to go down, because it's especially when you're the captain or the leader of the team, because that trickles down to all the other players. It's like we need to be focused on what we need to do here. We don't have time. It's like we don't have time to screw around and mess up this game. We got to get focused. We got to be serious. We got to go after these dudes. We need to be on point. And most players now, they come to dap you up. Now, I'm not saying you can't dap or and all that stuff. Now it's like, yeah, what's up, man? And blah, 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 blah. Even after the games, most people, they'd be so mad they lost. Most people just like, yeah, whatever. Give them a little pound. Or they just go right to the locker room. They don't even want to interact. So like I said, it's an entirely different outlook when it comes to dealing with certain players. And as far as the league and how everybody now is all social media, and that's what I believe. Social media has created this because you're able to communicate with people much easier. You don't even got to pick up a phone and call them. You can just text them or send them some on Twitter and see their activity. So you're able to keep up with everybody. So you know what everybody's doing. Like, oh yeah, I saw the pictures. Nobody you have to meet them in person. They showing you photos and stuff of where they went. All that stuff is off. You can see all that without even having a conversation with them. Like a friend I haven't seen in 20 some years. I know what everything he done in the past 20 years because of Facebook. He's like, we got to get together one day. I'm like, yeah, one day we might. But I already know what's going on. I know about your promotion. I know about what your wife's doing. I know about the kids, what school they going to. The birthday party was great. I got a birthday alert on Facebook. I'm good. I'm caught up. So I understand that social media plays a part in this. But what is giving the perception to the people at home is that they're not even trying because they're all too friendly. There's no competitive nature no more, no real competitive spirit because they miss the days of rivalries when guys, used to just be so driven to beat the other team. Now it's like, well, we'll play, whoever wins, wins, and hey, we still going out there after the game? And that takes away from the mystique of the fans who really wear it as a badge of honor for the team, and they're ready to battle and go to war with other fans on social media. They've been battling fans all week, so they expect you to ride for them while they riding for you. Like yesterday, when LeBron and Kyrie was playing, when Boston and Cleveland was playing, Kyrie got the ball. He went down court and he got 1-on-1 with LeBron. And Kai went cross, stepped back, and hit the jump on LeBron. The Boston Garden exploded for what, a 10-6 game. One basket. That's all they wanted. They want that rivalry. They don't like LeBron James. They want him to go down. That is the rivalry. They have embraced it. They don't like fraternizing on that court. They want, when that game is on, you are the enemy. And that's how they play the game. That's how they take it to the chest. So, I mean, some people could play like that without that fire and everything else. Like Kobe, he was cool and cordial, but Kobe would take your head off, and there was a lot of people that played the game that way. But I'm just saying the way it looks to the fans, not to me, but to Joe Stupid. Joe Stupid gonna look at the game and don't think you're trying. Joe Stupid is the one that's gonna buy all your gear. Joe Stupid is the one that's got on your shoes. Joe Stupid is the one that got everybody in the household, in his house, wearing your stuff. So to Joe Stupid, if he don't think you're giving it his all, he gonna think the whole team went soft. Yeah, he went soft. Everybody that went soft on this team. It's just me now. So if they have that kind of mentality and attitude coming through the door, what's that gonna say for the rest of the team? And those are the things you got to think about when you go down this lane. You got to be very careful about how you want this to look like, because once it looks like this, it's going to stay like this forever until something starts to change. But it's culture because everybody's interactive. They're doing commercials together, social media. These guys really don't dislike each other. It's a game. And that's what it is. But it doesn't change the competitive nature. Once the game get going, you want to win, But it's just some people have a different way to going. Like for Russell Westbrook, it's harder for him to get up for the Lakers or a team like that than it is for him to get up for a Golden State and Houston. He's wide awake for those games. He gonna go off. But if you telling him the Milwaukee Bucks is in town or the Washington Bullets, he's not too enthused. If they lose, they might lose those games just cause. But you ain't got to worry about him fraternizing with the other team. He played a game with a little bit more fire and spunk than the majority of the people on the court, and that's the way I play. We can be cool after the game, but while we playing, I have to. After the game is over, even 10 minutes after the game, I gotta cool down because I'm so driven with competitive juice. That stuff gotta calm down before I'm able to even go back to having normal conversation. So It takes a minute. But y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm out.